I'm Midnight Agent Raw.
And I'm Okame.
We are the Super Media Bros podcast, and we are founding members of the OddPods Media network. Coked up ball sacks.
Methed up Muppet.
And 2 listeners. Whatever those are.
All that and, well, some stuff.
Is that a flying pizza?
A flying sauce or...
Super Media Bros.
Dude, how fucked up would it be to actually see a chef chasing a pizza flying down the street with a fucking meat cleaver? Like, who would use a meat cleaver to cut pizza?
Apparently this chef would. But it wouldn't be for the pizza. It'd be for the person trying to steal the pizza.
Thought we were watching a horror movie for a minute.
You know, you kind of get that feeling after watching these two.
Yeah. Welcome to episode 158 of the Super Media Bros podcast. I'm Midnight Agent Raw.
And Humble Kame.
And we're here with Cult Cinema Showdown 66. Munchie versus Mac and Me.
There's a big ugh.
That's like a fucking brouhaha of bullshit without the haha.
This one told me that, this is the first time I watched both of these, by the way, but he told me that there was going to be a lot of fuckery and just bullshit. And I was like, I'm ready for it. And that's putting it mildly.
Yeah. Let's jump into it. So I believe Munchie is Jim Wynorski's first attempt at a family movie. And it came out in 1992. It was also Jennifer Love Hewitt's first film.
Whom was just called Love Hewitt.
Love Hewitt. But anyway, Munchie deals with, well, first of all, Munchie is supposedly a loose sequel to the 1987 movie Munchies. That's bullshit. I don't fucking care what they say. It's not.
It even says in the IMDb, it's like, oh, if you like Munchies, you should watch Munchie because it's the sequel. No,
it's fucking not. I don't give a fuck what they say. It's literally a sequel only in like the name. There's literally nothing else that carries over from that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So get that thought out of your heads. Munchie deals with a young boy named Gage Dobson, who is a transfer student to a new school. He's having a hard time with his grades, making friends, the whole shebang. Like his dad's not in the picture anymore, and his mom's dating a fucking douchebag, and he finds this little fucker in a box. We don't get introduced to him that way. We get introduced with a opening car chase that has nothing to do with the rest of this movie.
Just some random dude with the box just tossing Munchie literally off a cliff.
I just want to know what kind of vehicle that truck was, because it gets hella gas mileage. I mean, the chase happened almost overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And I only assume that this is to establish that Munchie is a fucking nuisance.
It has to be at this point.
Yeah. He throws him off this fucking cliff, and you're just like, oh, okay.
The thing is, you get the voice of Dom DeLuise, and it's like, what's more annoying, the fact that he talks or the way he talks?
Right? I also want to point out that this sequence is happening in 1970, this car chase scene, and then it's like today. Like when it cuts to, like after the opening credits, it's like today. What fucking year is today?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I realize 1992, but still, like, what the fuck?
They don't establish that in the film.
No. So it could be anywhere between 1970 and 1992. Today. Somewhere today. I don't even know where this fucking movie takes place.
I don't remember either, honestly. But I don't think that's important because that's not really driving the point of what this film's about.
No, but still, it's just like, what the fuck? You know, I want to know what town this fuckery supposedly happened in.
In Today. That's what it's called.
Just today. Today. Somewhere in.
Like whatever state it's in Today, Ohio or something.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Today, Tennessee.
Today, Florida.
Anyway, so we open up and we just kind of get introduced to these random characters. Like, you know, you see Gage getting bullied at school by Ashton and whatever the fuck the other guy's name is. I don't fucking remember.
Was it Liam?
Yeah, Leon or whatever the fuck. Yeah, Ashton and Leon.
Yeah.
And obviously his crush is Jennifer Love Hewitt's character, Andrea Kurtz. I mean, this kind of plays into the whole trope of like, oh, this kid is, you know, he's the loser at school. I mean, he daydreams a lot. I mean, he daydreams about getting some kind of award at one of the award ceremonies at the school, and he snaps out of it, and his teacher's basically like, oh, you're failing math and your other courses or whatever. And
it's pretty straight to the point. cookie cutter. Like, this kid's failing. He doesn't know where his life's going, basically, at 4th grade.
Right.
You know? It's like, what do I do with my life when I'm a freaking 9-year-old? But, or whatever old he is. I don't even know at this point. But
Right.
yeah, so like he said, failing class, getting picked on. The love interest is not paying attention to him.
The Love Hewitt interest.
Yeah, the Jennifer love interest. That should have been one of the fucking intros.
Yeah, it should have been.
But also, the principal is on his ass, which he's just as much of a douche as the rest of the characters that we're going to mention.
Yeah, because before we even get introduced to the douchebag that his mom's dating, like there was that whole lunch tray sequence.
Yeah, where Leon tosses the fucking lunch tray at the door and actually hits the principal. And they're like, whose lunch tray is this? And it's like, him.
Yeah, and then that whole sequence where Gage is just imagining as he's walking up to Principal Thornton, oh shit, it's the Wild West. He's about to hang me or shoot me. Oh shit, it's the devil. Oh, it's a judge.
Well, yeah, they literally had like 3 or 4 different like scenarios where it's like the Wild West, he's about to be hanged, the guillotine or something like that. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the worst one was like the devil one because it's like him in a fucking devil costume, like he was like a homeboy in what was that movie?
Problem Child?
Yeah, Junior.
Yeah.
But I was joking with him watching this film. I was like, too bad they didn't do like a gimp suit scene.
I mean, he's so fucked up, dude. He's just walking and, he gets scared at all the other ones. And the gimp suit scene pops up. He's like, what the fuck is this? Like, he just snaps out of it
It's
completely.
Like, that's the worst one.
He just, and I'm leaving. Like, he just walks past him and goes home.
Yeah, he's like, where the hell are you going? I'm leaving you.
Right?
You make me uncomfortable.
Yeah. And then the principal proceeds to just like shit all over him. And he's like, I don't like what I'm seeing. You're new here. But, I'm going to give you 20 extra hours of study hall and 2 demerits, whatever those are.
Which is a running gag.
Yeah. And in this moment, Gage just imagines himself being tied to a pole in front of a firing squad and they fucking shoot his ass.
Yeah, and he like grasps himself. It's like, oh, it's just ketchup.
It's definitely not cranberry sauce.
Definitely not. Wrong film, son.
Wrong movie.
But he ends up walking home and he runs into his neighbor, which is Professor
Crookshank.
And he's apparently blown up his garage.
Yeah, he's trying to work on his Jeep.
And they have a little chit chat about, oh, when are you going to make this thing run? Pretty soon. That's about it. I mean, the character is interesting because he has like an accent. He's kind of kooky and stuff like that, but that's really about it.
He's honestly one of the better characters in the movie.
Yeah.
He's interesting anytime he's on screen.
Like, this is going to be a little disclaimer from my end. Like, I'll admit, 80% of this film was just boring as hell to me. So just fair warning, I'm not going to talk too highly in depth about a lot of this shit, but there's a couple of little moments, I guess you can call it. But yeah, so he ends up going home. He runs into his mom and douche nozzle.
Elliot Carlisle, Dr. Elliot Carlisle.
Who right off the bat is just, greasy motherfucker weasel.
That fucking tracksuit that he's wearing, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that just screams douchebag, especially with the fucking mustache.
The little pencil thin mustache going across, yeah. It kind of reminds me of Freddy from Borderlands 3, the Handsome Jack DLC.
Oh my God.
It's Freddy. But anyway.
His mom's played by Lonnie Henderson.
Whom is?
Mega Fox in this movie.
Mm.
And obviously, like, she's nice and all this other shit. And you wonder, like, what the fuck they're doing together. Because he keeps telling Gage, he's like, oh, I'm going to marry your mom. Your dad don't want you no more. You should try out for the football team. Oh, by the way, go inside. I'm about to fucking shove my tongue down your mom's throat right in front of you.
It's like, hold up. Your dad doesn't want nothing to do with you? Like, that's something you say to this kid? Really?
Yeah, he gets the douchebag award right off the fucking jump.
They really, like, set the bar, like, really high immediately. Like, this dude's a fucking piece of shit. Oh, okay.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So anyway, Gage like sees this happening. He just walks off and then he has this fucking elaborate daydream sequence about, oh, one day they're all going to be sorry whenever I'm dead. All right, let's see this fucking funeral scene where Leon and Ashton are kind of, apologizing. Everybody comes up and apologizes over his fucking body in an open casket, which I got to point out Angus Scrimm playing the Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's a fucking horror legend. I mean, the Phantasm series is just chef's kiss.
Makes you just wish that the orb would just come floating out of nowhere and be like, you're dead.
It's just
remember that you're supposed to be dead.
No, right? Yeah, because in that little dream sequence, like everybody says, like, oh yeah, I'm sorry about this, or then Andrea was just kind of like, oh, barely got to know you, blah blah blah, and then Elliot comes up and he's arrested. He's like, I've been arrested for bigamy. Your mother saw me on America's Most Wanted, and you were right. I am a creep. And he just gets dragged off, and then his mom is just, oh, we're all sorry. Blah, blah, blah. She goes to walk off. Oh, and by the way, here's that Walkman you wanted for your birthday. And he just he sits up out of the casket. Oh, thanks. And then fucking Angus scream, I'm sorry, son. You'll have to be quiet. You are dead after all.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love that shit. He's like, oh yeah.
Right. But yeah, he ends up stumbling on this mine somewhere today. And he hears this voice talking to him. It comes from this crate in the middle of this mine, which is really not in the middle of it. It's like 10 feet away from the entrance. And he gets coerced into opening the box, saying that he'll do whatever he wants, blah, blah, blah. He's basically a genie in a shitty-ass lamp. Lo and behold, there's Munchie, this looks like a pancake-faced Muppet.
With fucked up ears and a comb over.
With Dom DeLuise's voice behind it.
He did what he could.
I know.
But it's polarizing to look at this fucking creature. He's supposed to be talking, but even when he's not talking, his mouth is still moving, and when he's not talking, his mouth is closed.
Yeah, the animatronic or the sequences with the puppet didn't really layer onto the voice very well from what I've seen.
Yeah. But anyway, like, he comes out like fireworks blazing and everything. It's like, hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime guy. Like all that bullshit. And of course, scares the fuck out of Gage, so he runs away. I would too.
Also, why didn't that puppet catch on fire?
At this point, I kind of wish it would have.
Because, that thing was like completely surrounded by sparklers.
I don't know, dude. He runs home. And another gag throughout this movie is that like he gets in trouble so much, or he gets like shit talked so much that like his food's always cold and shit. Yeah, you're going to bed with a cold dinner and you're not going to eat or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, because his mom saw him come in late and she was pissed off. So it's like, oh, well, I'm not warming up your dinner because you were late. I'm like, so really? You're going to be that bitch to him? Okay.
Right. Like this kid's got like no friends and his fucking, his life sucks. But no, he goes upstairs and Munchie's just there watching TV. And this is where we get to the whole pizza, the whole fucking pizza scene.
Well, first off, when he's in the mine, he actually asks, I'll give you anything. What do you want? So he starts naming all the stuff that he wants. He wants his mom to get away from the shitbag that she's dating. He wants the two bullies to leave him alone. He wants Andrea to be his girlfriend. And he wants everybody at school to not pick on him and shit like that. And he's like, okay, I got you, fam.
But what do you want right now?
He's like, well, I want pizza. Because the mom gave dinner to Gage because she felt bad for not giving him dinner, which you shouldn't even threaten that to begin with.
Right.
He comes home late. It's like the kid knows where he's going, so shut up, fuck up, bitch. But yeah, she felt bad. She gave him dinner. She walks off and they're like, I don't want that shit.
Yeah, it's like cold ass, like pork chops, mac and cheese, and a glass of milk.
Ironic mac and cheese. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Munchie decides to call for pizza in his own special way, which involves his magic little digits. And out of nowhere, in the middle of town of today, I forget the name of the restaurant, but it's like an Italian restaurant. And the chef is literally like talking all this big smack about this pizza. It's like, yeah, it's the best pizza ever.
It's my chef's special.
Yeah. Which I found it funny because when they dropped the pizza for the first time, it was like nothing but a sauce and dough, like piece of shit looking pizza. And then when they finally summoned the pizza to float away, it was like all decked out and his weird ass fake toppings and shit. But he made the pizza float like a damn UFO and just take off out of the pizzeria. The chef got pissed, chased after with a fucking meat cleaver.
Just has it in it. He draws it like a goddamn gun in a Western. He's, that's my specialty.
Oh, this shit again.
Like this has happened before. This isn't the first time one of his pieces of creation have flown out
This is Tuesday night. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's just a regular Tuesday night for this guy.
So he's going through town wielding a freaking cleaver, and he gets caught by the cops. Like he's freaking brandishing a weapon in the middle of public. It's like, dude, you should have thought of that before you walked outside.
It makes me fucking laugh because they probably saw him running down the street and they're like, not again. Like he's done this before.
Giorgio, come on now. How many times will we give you a warning for this?
Come on, we'll give you a ride back to the restaurant.
Next time is going to be the last time we bring you back to the restaurant.
Exactly.
They probably say that every time too.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the pizza at Gage's room, just ready to be eaten.
The anchovies all over and everything. The way that Munchie puts the pizza in his mouth, he's just like, "Rah." I'm like, God, this could just cut to another scene.
Yeah.
Anyway, like the next day at school, Munchie starts his shit. Because first off, Leon and Ashton put Gage in a headlock and pretty much threaten him over the talent show because he's going to be a stagehand or whatever.
To his knowledge, it's the first time he's going to be a stagehand. He didn't know about this shit to begin with.
Right. So Munchie just like pops out and he starts his shit. Because he tells Gage there's a lot of work to be done, starting with your math grades, and he pops off. This might be one of the funnier sequences in this goddamn movie, okay? He rolls into the principal's office where got Miss Laurel, who's the secretary, hot as shit. Munchie throws his voice as Principal Thornton and gets her out of the room, so he pops up and changes his grades. But then whenever Miss Laurel walks into Principal Thornton's office, it's really
disturbing.
It is very pornographic. It's like, not literally that, but this is how pornos start, okay?
There's this love interest between the two of them, a scandalous one at that. Apparently they had it before, now they're off on it, and then back on it again. But the part that was just so fucking cringy was all the pet names between the two of them.
Yeah, they start calling each other, like, I don't even want to fucking, they're stupid. I don't even want to fucking say them. They're dumb.
Yeah.
So Munchie hears all this shit going on, and he's just like, huh, I know everybody needs to hear this. And he fucking clicks the PA system on, so every classroom hears it. What it makes me laugh was whenever the teacher rolls in there, she pretty much just calls him out for it. And he was like, every class? That's right. Snooky Poo, and fucking walks off. And then fucking Munchie, so long, Snooky Poo, and fucking leaves. And that's just one of the names they called each other.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, and the shower fight scene. You know, Gage is coming out with his towel on, and Leon just happens to round the corner and see him bent over and thinks, huh, snaps him in the ass with a fucking wet towel.
You know, the way that they filmed that part, it was so uncomfortable because who in their right mind would think whatever age this kid is, I don't even fucking know at this point. I've done forgot, but he's bent over, butt in the fucking camera, and this kid walks up and is like, yeah. Like, not like that, but it's just, it's not a very,
it's not written well at all.
No, it's so hard to describe for some reason because I'm so like just frazzled from thinking about it. But yeah, he snaps his ass with a towel and he starts like threatening him and shit. Well, when he walks away, Munchie is throwing his voice, Gage's voice, in the locker and calling him out on bullshit. And he turns around and is like, you keep saying that, I'm going to beat your butt. Well, he does it like 3 times. Well, he walks up to Gage. The freaking locker that Munchie's in slams open in his face. He hits him so hard that he makes him like slip and fall on the ground.
That should look painful though, man. I gotta admit.
Because he hits his tailbone like really hard. But Munchie's like, okay, kid, you got the last blow. Go for it. So this, I want to say like a good 3 or 4 inch shorter kid to this little bit bulkier, like star of the football team, Leon, walks up to Gage and is like, I'm gonna, and he says some
he's
stuff.
like, the way he says it though is funny. He's like, I am gonna kill you. And he just like waddles over to him.
And Gage just clearly uppercuts him, which again didn't hit him, but for sake of movie, hits him into the towel cart, I guess you can call it, the dirty towel cart. Roams them into the freaking shower heads that are turned on, just still on. Nobody's using them. And lo and behold, in the shadows, the freaking coach or the gym teacher is like, hey, I saw that. I'm not going to report you, but hey, that was awesome.
Right. Like, sees the whole thing, but doesn't think one time to come break this fight up.
Mm-mm.
But I will say, so far, aside from Crookshank, the gym teacher is the best adult in this movie because he's like, dude, he fucking told him, he's like, hate that it happened, but he had it coming.
And then he asked him to join the football team because apparently his all-star athlete is out of commission. And Gage's like, I don't do football.
He's like, oh, that's a shame. Let's get to the fucking Romeo and Juliet talent show scene. Munchie claims to have helped Shakespeare write all of his plays, which is very hilarious because Munchie is apparently like centuries fucking old and has been in like every major historical event throughout time. It is very funny. Like I probably will admit this is probably one of the funnier scenes in the movie because every line that Ashton gives, something happened. You know, like, what light through yonder window breaks? A fucking lamp flies through the fucking window. And then like the whole line about the sun, you know, kill the moon. A big ball that's supposed to be the moon fucking drops and shatters on the fucking stage. And he slips on a banana peel, and then he loses his fucking trousers at the top of the fucking staircase on, right in front of Andrea and the whole school. But somehow Gage gets blamed for all of it and everything else that happened with the principal.
Mm-hmm.
So he pretty much tells Munchie to fuck off.
But Gage brings the box to Crookshank and is like, hey, can you help me with this thing? Because he doesn't know what the fuck it is, basically. And Crookshank immediately recognizes, like, where'd you find that? He's like, oh, it's just some random mine in town today. So he pulls out this book, and it's literally showing, like, several sequences where Munchie has been involved in, like, ancient Egypt. There was
like the Mayans.
There was one with, I think it was like monks of, I think it was like in China or something. I don't remember what it was.
Buddha,
yeah. But yeah, apparently, like you said earlier, Munchie's been involved in so much history that this is like a gold mine find for anybody, basically. So he asked him if he can keep the box and study it, and also if he can actually meet Munchie. And Gage's like, well, I basically told him to fuck off, so I don't know how easy that's going to be.
I wish he would have said that for real.
Yeah. That is, okay, so that is one thing about Gage that I did like, and that's the only thing I like about him, was he has these, like, quips, these one-liners. They're like gut punches almost. Like, he kind of just breathes them out like, oh, yeah. Like, oh, shit, dude.
Yeah, because, like, speaking of that, like, right after the scene, he goes home because this is the night that Elliot's supposed to propose to Kathy, his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And he says something to the effect of, like, oh, I'm just going to, go upstairs in my room, because Elliot basically tells him to go fuck off and go to his room.
Right.
And Kathy comes in and she's like, oh, you want to stay for dinner? He's like, no, I got some homework and I need to study. She's like, well, your food will get cold. And he's like, kind of getting used to it that way. It just fucking walks off. It's like, ooh, fucking burn.
The cold dinner.
Burn, cold dinner. What's cooler than being cool? Ice cold dinner. I love this sequence too. Because while she's going in to finish all the food in the kitchen that she's making, Elliot tries to set the mood. He's like lighting candles and turning the radio on and dimming the lights. But Munchie pops up, and like every time he'll light the candle, the lights will come back on. So he'll go turn the fucking lights back off and the candles will go out. And then the radio goes from like this nice like elevator music to, well, I don't even, it's some like patriotic song.
Very like marching band sounding.
Yeah, and it's loud.
Yeah.
And it's fucking hilarious because at one point, Kathy comes out and she actually names the artist or whatever. She's like, oh, I didn't know you liked this song or whatever. Oh, I don't. Something's probably just wrong with your tuner. I'll turn it off. And without missing a beat, fucking Munchie just pops up. Not the only thing that's going to get turned off tonight. God damn it, dude.
At least somebody feels that way.
No, but it's just...
Because that dude turned me off long before now.
Well, look, okay, so I didn't even mention this at the start of the episode, but I watched this movie a lot as a child, but like in our video store. It was actually one of my favorite movies as a kid. And I mean, I can see like as a younger person that would love this fucking movie. But it's hilarious when you come back and watch it years and years and years after the fact, and the shit that just went over your head as a kid. Oh God, I loved Munchie.
Mm-hmm.
He's got these adult jokes he's gonna tell it's gonna go over your head. The fucker drinks beer and all kinds of other shit.
And other things, which we're probably get into in a little bit, but yeah.
When he lights the matchstick in his fucking shoe.
Yeah. And he shakes the champagne bottle, makes it squirt all over home, dude.
God, I love this guy. The drinks are on him.
Yep. So he gets so pissed that Gage comes downstairs and he immediately calls him out on everything. He's like, you little brat of a kid. I noticed you were sabotaging everything. All under the vision, the hearing, the whatever of Kathy, literally watching this man that she's only known for 2 months. 2 months.
60 days.
Call her son all these derogatory things. And she steps in for one of them. It's like, no, that's my job. I yell at him. And then he talks her into going to dinner with him in town. After all this said and done, she willingly agreed to it. After kind of a little bit of hesitation, but not like a whole lot. And I'm going, okay, you literally just saw this man just demean your kid when he wasn't even involved in all the shit that was going down. Why would you give this man a chance after that?
And not just that, just leaves him by himself. I mean, I realize it's 1992 or today, but still, she leaves him at home by himself.
But Munchie wants to throw a party.
Yeah, because while the whole champagne fiasco happened and the matchstick in the shoe happened, he swiped old boy's wallet. But I love the phone calls he made for the parties and shit. Like he's calling for like a band and a beer keg, but he disguises his voice as Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, because he called Hugh Hefner, I think it was.
Yeah, he's like, hey, Hef, I need a few girls for the party.
You got a band too?
Yeah, he's like, I need a band.
Any band will work.
Do you need my credit card? Oh, good, you've already got it on file.
Yeah, he voices Elliot's voice to get like a caterer and just, oh, you have it all on file? Great. Just do all the works. Like, don't stop.
Price is no option.
The first call I make was to Andrea and
As
Gage's
Gage.
voice,
Yeah.
and says, oh, yeah, you can come to my party tonight. You know, it's going to be really fun. Oh, your dad wants to come too? Great. That's like hitting on my Mac or macking on my girl with your dad involved.
No shit, right?
But yeah, so I'm trying to think where this starts off at because we have Dipshit and Kathy at dinner. We have Gage and the little fiasco here.
Yeah, because it starts off at like the party is going.
Mm-hmm.
And Gage comes downstairs, and I just want to point out, he's throwing a party for this kid. There's more adults than children there with alcohol and like women that should be like adult entertainers. The principal and Miss Laurel are there, which they take away the 20 hours of study hall and the 2 demerits, whatever those are, because the party is so hopping. Munchie's got a fucking beer keg just serving drinks. Andrea and her dad are there. I think might be the only 2 kids there, actually.
They were.
Yeah. And then we cut to the Italian restaurant, which classic. Don't give a fuck what anybody says. This scene at least was just like beautiful because she finally dumps his sorry ass at the restaurant. And she's like, I've heard enough. Yeah, you can take me home now. And she goes to pay for the check and he's like, nonsense. When Elliot Carlisle takes a woman out, he pays. I seem to have forgotten my wallet in my other jacket. And the fuck is making me laugh because the waiter's standing there. He's just like, Like he's getting a kick out of this shit. Womp, womp, womp. Yeah. So, you know, she's got to pay. They come home and, yeah, the house is a goddamn wreck. And she handles it actually very well.
But we forget that Crookshank actually meets the kids outside and comes to the party. Just, you know, I like to mingle. He's a professor that likes to mingle.
I like this guy, though.
Yeah. Because he was actually being macked on by 2 girls from the party. So I was like, hey, dude.
That shit was great.
Yeah.
Brains,
that was actually pretty good.
Yeah, brains go a long way.
Come to find out that, you know, after everybody was gone and whatnot, you can hear Munchie snoring in the background.
Oh, my God.
And they find him, all of them find him behind the couch. And fucking Elliot, like, snatches his ass and is like, oh, you can get so rich off of this. Fine. Like, this is the discovery of the lifetime. Blah, blah, blah.
I'm going to take him to my lab and do experiments on him.
Well, they finally trip his ass and they get him out and they run to the Jeep to get away from him, Carlisle. But Kathy trips his ass and makes him, like, fall over and pretty much stalls for Gage and Crookshanks to get away with Munchie.
Yeah, because it also, this actually comes into play. Andrea sprays him with beer from the keg.
Mm-hmm.
That comes into play in a minute.
To kind of, you know. Yeah.
Foreshadow.
Mm-hmm. So they take off and Elliot takes off behind them. And then Kathy, Andrea, and her dad take off behind him. So we have literally a 3-car chase.
Which just becomes a 2-car chase at some point somehow.
Yeah. So we have a lot of shenanigans and everything like that. At one point, they get to the part where, like, literally Elliot's, like, right there. And Munchie makes the Jeep pretty much just go, fly in the air.
I mean, not unlike in Christmas Evil when old boy drives the van off the bridge and just dee 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 dee, and like just start shooting stars off into the sky. But I love this. So at some point, like while he's looking at this happening, Elliot crashes through this money machine and right into a donut shop. You know, there just happens to be, you know, the police officers on their fucking midnight shift break or however fucking late at night this is. And yeah, he's like, oh, you got to see it. There's this flying Jeep and a jolly little monster in it. Yeah. And I'm Captain Kirk and this is Mr. Spock, you know, because we got a live one here because he's got beer all over him. So they assume automatically that he's drunk.
It's like after the night with Giornio again, we got to deal with your crazy ass.
No shit.
So yeah, they pretty much arrest him for pretty much DUI or DWI, whatever the fuck. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But yeah, they're still in the air at this point, and they're like, how long can we stay up here? Not very long. My magic has its limits.
I love Crookshank. Help! But then Kathy and Andrea and her dad pull up in the parking lot as Elliot's being taken away because he still doesn't have his wallet on him, so he has no ID. He's like, Kathy, tell these people who I am. Sorry, officers, I've never seen this man before in my life. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets taken off in the cop car, and Crookshank and them pull up, and it turns out that Crookshank is really good buddies with these two particular officers or whatever because they're asking him how his career's going and shit, and he's looking back at him. He's like, "Oh, got another one, huh?" And he's like, "Yeah, a couple months in the county lockup ought to straighten this asshole out." And he's like, "All right, good deal." They drive off, and Munchie's just flipping him off from the back of the car, and it's just all beautiful.
Yeah, because at one point I thought he flipped off the camera by accident. In the beginning of this film, he's like, "Oh no, wait, they do."
Yeah, I was like, he does.
And I was like, yes.
Right.
Justice.
The end of the movie is that Crookshank had gotten his grant from the university to go study overseas. So he's going to take Munchie with him so he has like an extra, brain that knows about all this shit. And I want to know something. How the fuck did these motherfuckers hijack this plane and not get stopped?
Fucking TSA, man, they slacking.
Yeah. Because Munchie and Crookshank just take off in the goddamn plane.
Also, I don't know if you caught this, but the announcement for the flight was going to the one place that they said they were going to in the middle of this like random location. There's no layover anywhere. It's literally straight to these temples of whatever the fuck it is that Crookshank said it was.
The temples of doom.
Yeah. Something. I don't know. But the point is, normally with planes, they stop in a major city and then they go wherever. No, it's like, final flight to this temple of such and such. I'm like, really? One stop? One stop there? That's it? Go?
Better be a lot of fuel in that fucking plane.
Also, where are you going to land?
Yeah, no shit. Because, he has trouble landing shit. I mean, even though he's not flying it with magic, he still has trouble landing this shit.
Yeah, because the pilot and the crewman come up to the stewardess or the whatever. It's like, hey, we're on that plane. We're not supposed to be over here. We're supposed to be in there. And who's flying the plane? Hey!
Hey, we're going to go get arrested now.
We're going to leave the country. We're fleeing.
And that's pretty much the end.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dylan.
I'm Corey.
I'm Kendall.
Together, we host From the Middle, a comedy and culture podcast about being middle-class guys living in the middle of America, in the middle chapters of our lives, with points of view that fall somewhere in the middle.
That's right, Corey. We chat about all things, mostly husband and dad life, geek culture, and entertainment, from a relatively centrist and regular point of view. We all hear enough about the extreme ends of the spectrum, so we thought we'd create a conversational and relaxed podcast from a moderate perspective.
Flyover state? Psh, more like state fairs, livestock. Guys, what's something that's cool and impactful that is the antithesis of boring?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Listen to our podcast. We'd love for you to join the conversation. You'll forget you're not actually hanging out with us.
That's From the Middle, available wherever you find podcasts and at From the Mid Pod everywhere.
Let's move on to Mac and Me.
This is like the battle of the Muppet versus the fucking Dick face, the Dick family.
Yeah, this family looks like just a package of testicles just shriveled out.
So Mac is this alien with a family of 4, basically, but the baby at this point on a random planet where they shove metal straw-looking devices into the ground to suck water because their mouths are literally they look like blow-up doll mouths. Just a hole. And the way that they walk, it's like they're constantly like stoned or tripping on something because they're just wobbling around and gyrating in the middle of nowhere. It's
fucking huge eyeballs.
Yeah, it's just so fucking funny to me. I don't know why, but the face, like I told him through this whole fucking film, like whenever you see the mouth of these creatures like constantly like move and flex, they don't change shape. It's like you see the muscles. I'm like, It reminds me too much of a fucking dick.
Right? And this NASA research probe just fucking lands to try to take samples of the atmosphere, and it winds up like sucking the family into it and flies off back to Earth.
So, fun fact, they're very elastic.
Yeah. Yeah, they crack this thing open. Like they go to this military base and they crack this fucking probe open. The family comes out, and I was laughing because it looked like the sequence in Independence Day whenever the alien pops out and he fucks with Brent Spiner's character, the fucking scientist in the lab. And I was just waiting on the, take me to your leader. Instead, it was just like, where's the nearest fucking Coca-Cola can?
Take me to your liter of water.
Yeah.
I don't normally talk like this. My mouth is just dry. I need water. Cold mouth. It was a long flight.
Right? But yeah, there's like smoke everywhere. But I was also laughing because when you see their face in this big ass cloud of smoke, they look like they literally just hit the. They just fucking smoked the place out, dude.
They just hit that doobie real hard, man.
No shit. And Mac, who is the baby of the family, he runs away. Like he gets away. And he gets hit. Like he goes through this fucking fence. Like he's getting chased or whatever. He kind of electrifies himself like through this fence, or he burns through it or some shit. And he gets hit by a fucking car and causes a goddamn like 4 or 5 car pileup.
Yo, okay. Have y'all ever seen like a dead frog that's just completely dried out and shriveled? That's what Mac looked like on his windshield going down the freeway. Like somebody hit him so hard he flattened and like became part of the windshield.
It's like a butterfly stretch testicle sack just like spraying across it.
It's like the piece of the circumcision that went flying out the window.
Right.
But yeah, he ends up, causing a havoc on the fucking highway or the freeway. And we get introduced to the other part of the movie. The family of...
It's Janet, Michael, and Eric.
Yeah. Which Eric is the one in the wheelchair, correct?
Yep.
Okay, I had to remember for a second, but yeah. Eric, literally drinking a can of Coke.
Prominently featured throughout this film. This family loves Coca-Cola.
One of 2 product placements that's very prominent. But yeah. And while they were going through the checkpoint to, get past the wreckage, Mac jumps into the van and stashes away and takes Eric's Coke. Because he sees a straw. It's like, ooh, liter.
Yeah, he's like, oh, mouth dry. Caffeine fuel. But no, the family is moving from Chicago to California. And they arrive at their house, and Eric sees, the next door neighbor, Debbie, sees them getting out of the car, but she sees Mac. I think she's the first one to notice him. And like, we kind of get introduced that this family is like, the mom's widowed because obviously the father has died. And throughout, and I want to like point out each fucking one, but there's like moments throughout where Mac kind of puts his hands up in some kind of signal and sings to his family, and they hear him and they sing back or some bullshit because he misses them. And it's, it's supposed to be emotional, but it's kind of corny.
Yeah, because they whistle.
Oh boy, I bet they can whistle with those fucking mouths.
Or however they do it, I don't care. But yeah, that's how they communicate. Like they'll sit there and notice something.
Yeah, then Mac is trying to get, I guess he's trying to get the family's attention like little by little because at one point he makes Eric's toy car move on its own, but it looks like he's shooting sparks out of his ass whenever it happens. Like you pointed that out. I thought it was funny as hell.
Fucking shat sparks.
Yeah, and of course it's that whole trope of like, oh, I saw this thing in the house, and nobody believes Eric, and
he ends up turning the TV on too.
Right, like he turns the TV on without it being plugged in and all this other shit. Well, then like he goes in the shower because the shower is like turned on hot water, and obviously Mac is like stepped through it and wet footprints throughout the house. And I just pictured his mom coming out and she's, Eric, did you do this? Like, bitch, I'm in a fucking wheelchair.
Yeah, like I pointed out, he was going through the house like picking his legs up and just stamping them on the floor. It's like, bitch, I am crippled.
Like, bitch, I'm in a fucking wheelchair. Like, seriously, like, there should be tire tracks or whatever.
Surprised you don't yell at him for tire tracks in the house.
Right. Well, like the next day, I think it's the next day, Mac has like rearranged the whole living room. He's thrown like dirt on the floor and fucked up the mom's painting and put all these fucking plants and shit in the house. And she pretty much blames the kids for it.
He made it look like a desert, basically.
Right.
And somehow the mom's like, what the fuck did y'all do? And they're like, we didn't do shit. Like there was even like 2 drill holes from, I mean, it's like a inch or 2 inch like size bit going through the fucking wall, 2 holes. It looked like a damn horror movie for one. 2, I kind of got glory hole moment from that.
Yeah, dude, because he's fucking rolled up right next to it as it's happening, and just
you see a fucking eye in the hole, and it's like, do you want me to put my mouth here? And
I'm ready for a straw.
I need moisture.
Moisturize me.
But yeah, he ends up taking the power saw too that they were using to cut a hole in the door. Not just a hole, like in general. There's no particular reason behind it, but yeah, he cuts a fucking hole in the door, all while dressing up this deer into like a freaking MAGA hat.
It looks so bad.
I mean, it wasn't back then, obviously, but it's just funny because I see a red hat with white letters on it. But yeah, literally just a desert. The mom's like having an aneurysm because she's so stressed out about everything.
Yeah, and then she yells at Eric. She's like, "Oh, you did all this, blah blah." He's like, "No, I'm telling you, it's this little creature." And she's like, "Yeah, sure." And she's like pissed off and throws papers everywhere and like fucking walks away. And Eric rolls outside to go look for him, and Debbie sees him, and like he meets her sister and all this other crap. And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna just roll away now." And he rolls through the backyard where they're kind of in the valleys, I guess, or whatever, because there's a lot of cliffs.
Mm-hmm.
And the little fucker like loses control of the wheelchair and goes straight down it. The funniest fucking shit. He hits the edge of the rock and then he falls into the water, and it's very obviously like this fake doll dummy in a wheelchair, just meow, and like right into the fucking water. And it's like Debbie like runs down there and she's like, Eric, just swim. And he's like, bitch, I can't, my legs.
I can't paddle.
My propellers are broken.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so Max saves him. And he's just like, goes back under the water. I'm like, why didn't he just stay in the water? Like, there's plenty to drink right there.
Could be hydrated for days.
Right. Well, then he's, getting medical attention, obviously, from like the fire department. And then like a doctor shows up at the house, and the doctor is asking, like, he's like, y'all leave us alone. So what did you see again? Oh yeah, this little creature. And he's like, well, you know what? I'm just going to write you a fucking prescription. Here's a sedative to put you to sleep. It's like, really, dude? You're going to fucking drug this kid up. All right. That's all right.
That's your reasoning for everything, huh?
Right.
Just going to sedate you.
Bam, 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 bam. You want to be sedated.
Mm-hmm.
And the mom works at Sears. Like the next scene is them driving the mom to Sears, which I guess that's supposed to set up for like a scene later or whatever.
Right.
So they decide when they get home to set up a trail of straws to a Coke can to catch Mac. Well, Debbie and Eric suck him into a vacuum cleaner, and Mike sees him as well. So now you got 3 people that have seen this little fucker.
Which the vacuum cleaner took off and pretty much took Debbie through the whole house and literally did like this poltergeist shit where it's like up on the wall, on the ceiling, down the wall again.
Debbie does Auric.
Yeah. But yeah, they eventually get him out and he's all weak and shit. Give him a Coke, can of Coke to wake his ass up. Get some caffeine.
That's like some smelling salts or whatever. Just put the Coke in his face.
That's why his eyes are big. Like, But apparently, Mac is not feeling good. Which at this point, he's missing his family because like every other sequence, you see his family like going through the California desert, whistling.
Yeah, that's all they do. Yeah, so like at this point in the movie, there's these government officials that are tailing this because they pretty much know he's there, and they're asking if the family has seen anything strange, and they're denying it. It's like, fuck this. Like we're gonna fucking tail these people wherever they go. First of all, Mac is like reaching out for some shit or whatever, and his fucking fingers look like the Elder Wand from Harry Potter.
Some knobby dick fingers. Right
Yeah.
there.
And basically he's trying to tell Deb and Eric that he's got a family or whatever. So they disguise him because they're going to go to McDonald's where her sister works. And he sticks him in a bear costume.
It's unbearable.
Yes, it is.
This is the other major product placement in this film, which is highly saturated. But yeah, Debbie's mom picks up Eric to go basically to this party. And as soon as we get there, it's literally like a fucking... It's either a commercial for McDonald's or it's one of those like training videos that you watch for like, yeah, this is what McDonald's is all about, y'all.
It was like Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo, but at McDonald's.
Yeah, because I mean, they had kids breakdancing in the fucking parking lot. There was random adults dressed up in different costumes of like groups of 3. There was like football players. There was like aerobics dancers. There's like cheerleaders and other shit. And there's Ronald just sitting there making, fun with all the kids and making them fat.
Ronald McGoddamn Donald!
You're going to have a supersized time.
Yep. But that's the thing. Like this whole entire sequence was, in my mind, not so much about trying to hide Mac from the agents. It was more of just like promoting the shit out of McDonald's to the T. Like, I mean, there's no T in McDonald's, but you know what I mean.
Right.
The MC.
Yeah.
Because
They're promoting the Mick fuck out of it.
they're doing a dance number, a song number. They're, like I said, it feels like if you were in the 80s and you're watching one of those training videos for McDonald's, like, this is what the company's all about. And it's like all this flash mob bullshit with like throwing Big Macs and fucking fries everywhere. That's pretty much what I got from the scene. I didn't give two shits about the goddamn alien at this point.
I'll tell you what, though, I wanted some fucking chicken nuggets after I saw this shit.
I mean, that's the whole problem right there.
Yeah, I mean,
It's trying to feed your fucking fat ass food.
Yeah.
Like your inner fat kid wants food. Now, I don't care about this fucking film. Who cares about this dick face alien with freaking salad fingered dick fingers? I want fucking...
I want a fucking Big Mac and a large Coke.
I want a fucking Big Mac. I want a damn quarter pounder.
And Mac is so spoiled, he doesn't want the fountain Coke. He wants it in a can with a fucking straw.
Mm-hmm. Which he ends up trying to grab this random kid's drink out of the bear costume. Because, like, yeah, bear costume and then, like...
This erect dick arm just reaches for it. Yoink!
Give me my crack.
Cracking me.
There you go.
Yeah. So the government officials, the two of them, they show up and we get Eric just wheelchairs the fuck out of there with Mac in his lap or on the chair some fucking where. And he goes like downhill. And this is like the most epic fucking the chase sequence because they're on foot after this kid in a fucking wheelchair. And I swear to God, this is exactly what I thought. He's rounding corners in this fucking wheelchair, dude. He's causing pileups. They're chasing his ass.
He needed some sick drifts, though. That would have been perfect.
Oh, I know. Beautiful sequence.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Highly recommend it.
Right. And then do they get, is this where they get to the Sears?
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah, that's a long ride.
But here's the thing. Like, there's this big comparison to the E.T. movie in this film, and it shows. Because it's pretty much almost word for word what E.T. did. It's just not as, like, dark and serious tone, I guess. But, like, pretty much the chase sequence with the wheelchair is pretty much the bike sequence with E.T. Same thing. The interest in Reese's Pieces with the interest in Coke. I mean, it's this whole film is just like them trying to be E.T. but not doing at all, basically.
Right.
But yeah, back to the Sears part. Like they're literally riding through Sears, getting chased by the agents, and they go past these TVs, and Mac just like makes them all like flicker and explode and freak out the agents and lock the doors behind them so they can get away. Well, they end up going into the van with it was the sister, Mike, and Debbie, and all them. Yeah, so
which fucking impressive. He just like lifts the whole wheelchair off the fucking ground.
just yoinks him up. You know?
Right. And
But-
Janet sees this happen. Like she's like Eric.
Yeah.
Young.
Deja vu.
Yeah. Just, what the fuck?
But there was a part before all this happened where Max set up this clue, I guess, of what he was trying to get across to the kids. He was basically had a Coke can full of straws with like propellers in them. And there was a advertisement for, it looks like Vaseline.
Valvoline.
Valvoline, that's what I'm like, Vaseline. The fuck
Well, I
am
mean, he
talking
needs to lube his fucking lips up and shit. Fucking dick mouth.
about? Like Glory Hole ain't gonna,
Glory Hill ain't gonna fucking
ain't
fill
gonna
itself.
moisturize itself.
No shit.
But yeah, he had this like advertisement for Valvoline next to it.
Some horses.
Yeah, and some horses. So they eventually drove out into the middle of the fucking desert because Mac was starting to pick up like a vibe, I guess, where his family was. And they eventually found the same billboard with horses around it. Like, oh, that's what the fuck he meant. Oh, yeah, obviously. And not long after that, they find these windmills, like the whole like wind power turbines and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, we must be close. Well, they end up finding, ironically, a mine that this is where the family is.
I love the hand signal, dude. You pointed out. It looks like Wu-Tang.
Yeah, he's trying to do like the whole cup, but it's like Wu-Tang. Cup my hands. So Mike goes into the mine with Mac, and you see the family literally just pretty much lifeless. Like they're not even breathing.
Like, they all look like when this scene popped up, Cody just fucking stops and just looks. Man, it looks like they took the biggest bong rip ever. Because they all look fucking stoned out of their goddamn minds.
I'm telling you, like, whoever designed the face or the headpiece for these aliens, like, they must have been really heavy, like, weed smokers at this point. Because, like, how can you make this close to E.T. but not E.T. Make them look stoned? Gotcha.
Weed tea.
There you go. But they freaked out and they thought they were dying or they're dead. So they got them a bunch of fucking coke cans. It's like, oh, drugs are a fun thing.
Too much weed. They need some coke.
Yeah. And they resuscitate the three of them. And the dad... I'm assuming it's the dad at this point. You don't know for sure, but it's the dad.
The Shaquille O'Neal looking fucker because he's so tall.
He gets his first sip and he literally like Undertaker like comes rising up like, ooh, like just freaking the fuck out. Like, what the fuck is this shit? Better than sex.
God damn, that's the best coke I've ever had in my life.
So they take them with them in this van. They cram them all into this van and they run from the feds throughout the entire time. And they try to entertain them. Well, not so much entertain. They distract them because all they want to do is get into shit. You know, Debbie, her race is getting grabbed and she's literally like being the mama bear, like, no, you do not touch me. And Mike's like, yeah, just tell them to, you know, just distract them, entertain them, whatever you got to do. So they start singing, they start clapping, they start doing random hand gestures like Simon Says and stuff like that. Well, they eventually go to a grocery store or a gas station. I think there's like both of them next to each other.
Yeah, it's like right at the same parking lot or some shit.
And they go in to get stuff like supplies, which is basically a bunch of fucking water and Coke.
Right.
It sounds suspicious at this point. Well, there are these two girls and this convertible pull up next to them at the gas station and they see the drink in one of the girls' hands. The dad, like, just freaks the fuck out. He just breaks through the glass and grabs the can.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty goddamn funny because that chick at first was looking at him and she was just like, oh, all right, whatever. She's taking a sip of her Sprite and just like erect dick arm and she freaks the fuck out and drives off.
Obey your thirst.
Yeah, exactly.
So they come back and they escape the van. Like, they apparently got fucking done with this shit. They're tired of waiting for their thirsty ass. And they go into the fucking grocery store across the street. And that was interesting.
Yeah, because everybody doesn't know how to react to him. Except the manager's like, security. And the dad alien just grabs the gun out of the dude's hand and just kind of look at it. And they flip the fuck out because they're just like, holy shit, put the fucking gun down. And cops roll up in there and take the kids out. And they're still holding them at gunpoint. The family just walks out. And they're still pointing all the guns at him. They're just like, they're freaking out, like, don't shoot them. They're not going to hurt you, all this other crap. Well, the dad fucks up and he fucking fires off a goddamn round. And you know what happens next.
Pretty much all the cops just like start shooting the shit out of him.
And then
there was like a gunshot at one point, like not gunshot, it was a shotgun shot, I'm sorry. And apparently it fucked some shit up. Because it hit the family.
Yeah, it blows the fucking gas station up and presumably blows the family up. And not only does it blow the family up, the concussion from it blows the fuck out of Eric.
Because he tried to wheel his way to them before anything went down and got caught in the wave of blast.
He got caught up in the crossfire. Yes, sir. So he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, like seriously, he fucking dies like right there.
Told you he did.
No, we told you he did. So here comes NASA on a fucking helicopter with Janet in tow. Oh, he's dead. No, my poor baby, he's dead. And then out of the fire, I swear to you, like we keep mentioning that there's some horror shit going on. The family walks through this goddamn fire reminiscent of when the T-800 model from Terminator rises out of that goddamn explosion and just comes forth. Nobody fires on them. And somehow with their magical dick finger powers, they revive this kid.
Yeah, they all do the little, like, I'm gonna cup your ball hand gesture. And, like, all hold hands, like a little kumbaya thing.
Right, and then they play light as a feather, stiff as a board with his ass, and the mom's just looking around like, fuck all. Like, what the fuck at everything. And I just want to point this out because like this is pretty much the end of the movie. They revive him, and then they get sworn in as citizens of this fucking town. And Eric is still in a goddamn wheelchair. You would think that they would have thrown this kid a fucking bone or like a few to fix his fucking legs.
I was thinking the same shit.
Just like, seriously, man. You think they would have like...
Throw me a freaking bone.
Yeah. But they're dressed in like human clothing and shit. And then like the end of the movie is them driving off on the interstate in a pink Cadillac, and Mac blows bubblegum and it pops in his face. And there's like a little animated bubblegum thing that comes out of the car from a long distance shot. We'll be back. No, the fuck you won't. You ain't coming back.
Nope.
And that's the end of Mac and Me. Mac and Me wins this one by a fucking long shot. Like, honestly, I really was thinking, you know, like Munchie is okay. Like, if you're into that kind of shit, like I do generally enjoy that movie, but comparatively speaking to this one, Mac and Me just had so much more going for it, as shitty as this movie also is.
My biggest thing about Munchie was, I was telling him while I was watching Mac and Me, was they try to push like the overreacting, the corny, the campiness, and the jokes a little bit more than normal, but they just couldn't push it. They couldn't jump that threshold like they were expecting. So everybody just kind of fell flat, minus like a few characters.
They fell flat like Eric did when he fell back in his wheelchair.
Pretty much. Like, Gage wasn't really that engaging as a character, minus the little quips that I said earlier. Fucking Kathy was not that interesting to me at all, even though she was hot as hell, but she just didn't push the whole like mother thing like as much as I was expecting her to. Andrea was boring. I mean, even though it was Jennifer Love Hewitt, she was still boring as fuck. Most of these people just, they didn't make me want to be interested in this film. Even Dom DeLuise, like, yeah, the guy has a great voice and he has a good personality and stuff. Like him portraying this alien Muppet flattened turd shit face. I couldn't find the, like, if I was not watching this film with Richie, I would not find this funny, to be honest with you, because it wasn't funny enough for my stupid sense of humor for some reason. And like I said, just how like everything was not synced up very well, and it was just kind of like forceful. I couldn't get into it as much as the other film. You know, like you said, the Mac and Me is just as stupid, but there was more to it. Like it felt more viable, more believable in a sense.
It had more heart.
Yeah, as being an ET ripoff.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mac and Me is the absolute goddamn winner this week.
Like I said, beginning of this film, I was just not into it, and about 80% of this film bored the shit out of me, and that's why. Just
weren't blown away. Like the only thing that got blown away was the fucking gas station and little wheelchair Eric.
Mm-hmm. But it was a nice touch for them to put Angus Scrim in there as the Undertaker.
Angus Scrimp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did enjoy that cameo. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Fun fact about Mac and Me, and I didn't even notice this before, and I kind of want to, like, because I'm going to watch it again. Apparently, Nikki Cox and Jennifer Aniston had background character roles, but they're not credited. Want to know where those are?
Probably in the
McDonald's thing.
Probably. Either that or in the court scene where they're being anointed as citizens.
True. So next week, we're going to come back with our For Your Reviewing Pleasure series, and we're going to talk about Straight Shot Holmes' new album in retrospect. Then we actually are going to be doing a President's Day episode. It's a bonus one. And it's going to be not literally like canon in our Cult Cinema Showdown, but it's absolutely two films going against each other. Fucking Abraham Lincoln versus zombies versus FDR, American Badass. So yeah, get prepared for that dumb fuckery.
The only presidential election you'll ever want to be interested in.
Exactly. Then after that, we're going to come back with Cult Cinema Showdown 67, Masters of the Universe versus Flash Gordon. Exactly. And then our last episode of the month, we are actually going to be doing a crossover episode with our friends over at Podescue. We're going to be talking about cover songs and their originals and, you know, just kind of seeing which ones we like better or whatnot.
What we actually thought was very tasteful covers versus other people's, basically.
Other than that, you can find all episodes at supermediabrospodcast.com. You can check out all the other shows on the OddPods Media Network. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on social media. All that jazz. All that good shit. Buy some merch from us.
Y'all know the drill.
The drill. Just like the fucking scene in Mac and Me whenever the We're gonna glory hole all that fucking merch right at your face.
This should be like a meme for us, like just having Eric's face as the audience and us like poking holes. Y'all know our social media, right? You know the drill.
Like look through the fucking holes and it's like just the logo staring at the face. Like, hey,
It's YouTube, it's Twitter, it's Instagram.
it's all the shit.
Yeah. Pornhub. Wait, what?
Wait, huh? Huh? No, that's Elliot Carlisle's fucking personal social channel there.
Ugh.
Ugh. Creepo. Anyway, you want to get the fuck out of here, dude?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're being prepared to listen to good music on the next episode and talk about some more crazy ass shit. I think the Masters of the Universe and Flash Gordon episode is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that was episode 158, Cult Cinema Showdown 66, Munchie versus Mac and me. Until next week, I've been Midnight Agent Raw.
And I'm Okami.
Shades on.
Get stoned.